Hello and welcome once again to this week's edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility's Pete Pardo. I'm your host, Sea of Tranquility publisher Pete Pardo, and this is episode number 3, and it is currently Sunday, September the 14th. Welcome to New York. Welcome to Sea of Tranquility. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm going to dive right into it. What's hot, what's not in the world of heavy metal, progressive rock, and jazz fusion. Number 1 on my list this week is the brand new one from legendary progressive rock band IQ. This is Eroda Bones double disc set. First disc is a concept album. Pretty dark concept album about a serial killer, and the bonus disc has a bunch of tunes that they actually recorded at the same sessions, but because they didn't fall in with the whole concept album thing, they decided to leave them off, but also include them on the double disc set. The tunes are equally as good, just a little bit different, obviously, but this is just really good, dark, classic sounding symphonic rock from the veterans IQ, who've been doing it now for over 30 years, so check it out. Very good. Time to Die, the latest from Electric Wizard, the Doom Masters. These guys have been around for quite a while too. This is just dark, heavy, pulverizing, Saint Vitus inspired, just, you know, really evil sounding doom. Long tunes, a lot of riffs, psychedelic in parts. If you like Electric Wizard, you can't go wrong with this. Dig it quite a bit. We've got a new prog band called Heliopolis. City of the Sun is their latest. They're from the U.S. They're actually made up of members from other bands, some bands who are now defunct, others that are still going, like Mars Hollow and Ten Jin, Gabble Ratchet, as well as Rocket Scientist. This is really good. 5 long tracks, highly progressive symphonic rock. You know, a lot of references to the greats of the 70s. Great vocals, great guitar and keyboard work. Just a really good CD. I think this band is going to go places. So check them out, Heliopolis, on the 10T Records roster. Also on 10T, you've got the latest from Supernal Endgame. This is called Touch the Sky Volume 2. Another really good U.S. prog band. This one's got vocals kind of sound in the Peter Gabriel vein, got lots of violin, so it's got this kind of classic Genesis meets classic Kansas feel to it. Really good stuff, again also on 10T Records. Red Zone Rider, this is the latest supergroup of sorts featuring Vinnie Moore, guitar player. You know him from UFO. He's also had a solo career back in the 80s and 90s, guitar shredder sort of thing. Kelly Keeling on vocals, bass, and keyboards, and Scott Coogan on drums. Really good, you know, 70s style, hard rock, heavy rock, bluesy rock. If you like Winery Dogs and a lot of these Swedish bands that are kind of popping out of the woodwork doing the 70s retro thing, I think you'll really dig this. This is on Magna Carta, by the way. Really good stuff. Another 70s style band called Lonely Camel, titled Shit City. It's not shit, though. It's pretty damn good. Again, this is good, bluesy, heavy 70s style rock. Think Mountain, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. That type of thing, little ZZ Top. These guys have been around for a bit, got a couple CDs under their belt. This is the latest, also quite good. Napalm Records, check it out. Back to the prog front, we've got the sophomore release from Flying Colors, Second Nature. Hugh Syme did the cover, as you can tell. And again, this is just great stuff. A supergroup that's really living up to their namesake and really doing the supergroup thing. I like this one better than the first. You know, it's got Steve Morse on guitars, Neil Morse on keyboards and vocals, Mike Portnoy, Dave LaRue, and the new guy, who I forget his name, the singer. He's a pop singer. Sorry, I forgot his name. Who's great, by the way. And they've done this kind of like proggy, poppy, hard rock type of thing, and it's just really solid. The tunes just stick with you for a long after you stop listening to the CD. So check it out. They're going on tour too here in the U.S. and in Europe. So make sure you check this out. We've got the latest from Kruk, called Before. These guys are a Polish hard rock band. Been around for a little over a decade. Very popular in Poland. They've got a bunch of CDs out on Metal Mind Productions. This is the latest. If you like classic Deep Purple, Rainbow, Whitesnake, Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, Black Sabbath, you get the picture. 70s style, heavy rock, lots of Hammond organ, ripping guitar work, great vocals. Can't go wrong. It's got a bonus disc of a live concert from earlier this season too. Let's see what else we got. Over on the Moon June Records roster, we've got the latest from Morain titled Groundswell. Really interesting, jazzy, avant-garde, fusion, proggy, little metal type of thing, mostly instrumental. Very, very cool. These guys have been around, done a couple records. This is their latest. Really, really interesting stuff. If you like mostly instrumental music with a jazzy bent to it, you can't go wrong here. Very adventurous. Good stuff. Check it out. Over on Angel Air Records, BRB Razorback First Bite. This is somewhat of a reissue from the vaults. They got a couple guys from the old band Nightwing, British new wave British heavy metal band, as well as Del Brahman from the band Stray. They put together this kind of little super group in the late '80s. Wound up never releasing it back then, so it's out now on Angel Air. Pretty decent, not bad. It's that late '80s sound. It's kind of got that hard rock thing going from the '80s. A little bluesy, great guitar work, decent vocals. It's not going to set the world on fire, but I'm glad it's been released. If you like both bands, Stray and Nightwing, it's worth checking out. Here we've got a 2-disc set of 2 solo albums from Nazareth guitar legend Manny Charlton. These were both released in 2004 and 2005. They're called Sharp and Sharp Reloaded. I'm a Nazareth fan. Love Manny. It really isn't that good. So, anyway. But, for a completist, check it out. Also, I mentioned last week that we're going to be doing this brand new feature here called Forgotten Favorites. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some stuff from yesteryear that maybe, never really got a lot of acclaim, a lot of mainstream success, but always been near and dear to my heart, and I want to make sure you guys either have, if you haven't discovered these bands or these albums, to make sure you seek them out because they're really, really worthwhile. What you're listening to in the background is The Key by Nocturnus. This is an old death metal band from back in the late 80s, early 90s, and this is a really, really good album if you like that classic, like Florida death metal sound. Brutal, early 90s style with really cool progressive rock style keyboards going on in the background, but really thrashy, just really, really intense stuff. This is, in the underground, this has been hailed as a classic for a long time, and if you're kind of new to death metal and you haven't checked these guys out, you really should go look for this. It's well worth checking out. Just a really addicting CD, brutal as hell, technical, symphonic, the whole 9 yards. Can't speak highly enough about this band called Bang. For you 70s proto-metal fans, the early hard rock scene, if you've never heard these guys before, they were initially labeled as the kind of like the second coming of Black Sabbath, only from Florida. And this box set, which is just a great, from the Rise Above Relics label, who do great things. This has got their only 3 official releases, as well as their kind of demo album that they brought to the record label before they got signed. It's actually a concept album that the label kind of turned it down but said, hey, we want you guys, but you got to do something new. So they've actually got that very, very first album, as well as the 3 major releases. And this is just, if you can just imagine, like, Black Sabbath meets Grand Funk Railroad meets the Beatles. It's kind of what they're like. It's mostly a trio. Really, really good riffs, great vocals, catchy tunes. These guys just rock. They're actually back together, and they're going to be out on tour with Pentagram starting in a couple weeks. So check this out. Well worth getting this box set, by the way. Another band that I can't recommend highly enough that I actually discovered very late. Considering what I like, I can't believe when I was growing up I just never got into, but the band from Wales called Budgie, who are also still around, but these guys have been around since like 1970. Just one of the unsung heroes of the heavy rock and metal scene that just don't get their due. Their first self-titled album, their second album, Squawk, note the Roger Dean cover. Third album, Never Turn Your Back on a Friend, again, Roger Dean, come on. And probably my favorite of the first few, although they're all great, In for the Kill. I mean, this is just a heavy, heavy album, but their tunes are so memorable, and they go from like that really, like that Sledgehammer Sabbath-style stuff to like little mellower ballads to some of that acoustic kind of hard rock Zeppelin-y type of thing. The singer kind of sounds like Geddy Lee a little bit. I wonder if Geddy if he was an influence on Geddy, but really, really worth checking out. Those are my forgotten favorites for this week. I'll have some more next week. On the live front, I checked out Nick Turner's Hawkwind at the studio at Webster Hall a couple days ago. What a great show. Space rock. I mean, you know, always, I've been into Hawkwind for a while, never had a chance to see them in any incarnation. So Nick Turner has got a solo band. He decided to come over with his solo band and do a little tour here in the States, playing mostly the classic Hawkwind live album Space Ritual. It was a really good time. Got to meet him in the band. Really, really fun. Also caught Deep Purple at the Bergen Performing Arts Center in New Jersey recently, and that was just great. They finally came over here for the Now What tour, and they just sounded better than ever. I mean, they're just firing on all cylinders. So great to see Purple back live again, and they got another album in the works, another one with Bob Ezrin producing. So looking forward to that. So anyway, that's it for this week's What's Hot in the world of metal, progressive rock, and jazz fusion. Tune in next week, same channel. Again, make sure you save our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. We're going to do this every week. I'm going to be posting some live videos as well of some shows I've been to, so look out for that. So be good, be cool, keep enjoying your music. We'll see you next time. Take care.